Good evening, everybody. Sorry for the delay. It's just a little extra work we had today. And I think I'm graduating today. I went from little guy to big guy. So, can everybody please stand up? And one thing I want to ask, I was at a function in another town, and when they got up to salute the flag, I saw a lot of people a lot of gentlemen that didn't take their hat off. Of course, we don't have that problem here, and that didn't put their hand on top of their heart, and that's personal to me. Okay, the flag of the United States represents the country, not the government. And no matter how good or bad the governments are, the flag represents what we as Americans have fought for all these years. So I will ask, please, everybody, when it's time, put your hand on top of your heart. Mr. Boric.
God of the universe, look thou with favor upon these here assembled, and bestow thy guidance upon the members of the governing body in their deliberations. This we ask in thy name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Please, let's be seated. At this time, it's just been brought up to my attention, we should have, I'm sorry, can everybody stand up? Let's have a moment of silence for our fallen heroes and for the problems that we're having in this land of ours, and hope that things get settled soon. Thank you. In the event of an emergency, the proper method of exiting the council chambers is through the 3 doors behind you. You go down the steps, you go out. It's a beautiful day if we need to go out and have a good time. Just remember, never, ever, ever panic. Any member of the public wishing to speak during the public comment, which is 5 minutes only, that's 300 seconds, no more, please sign up on the sheets on the front, and you will be called at the end of the meeting. Cell phones, I'm going to turn mine off. Anybody here that needs to make a phone call, please step outside. If your phone rings, I'm going to have the chief of police take your name, and we're going to send you a nice Christmas card with your cell phone back to you. So everybody, please turn your phone off. Mr. Boric, please call the roll.
Mrs. Ormond?
Present.
Byer?
Here.
Brown? Here. Brooks?
Here.
Cosby Hurling?
Here.
Sadowski?
Here.
Strano?
Here.
Yamakaitis?
Here.
Medina?
Here.
Hickey?
Here.
Mr. Alvarez?
Here. Approving the minutes of the June 21st, 2016 meeting. Need a motion?
Council President, make a motion for the approval of the minutes for 2016 and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
I will abstain since I was not here. At this time, I will ask the mayor, I will ask Councilwoman Yamakaitis, and myself to come to the front for a small presentation. Chief Dooley, can you join us, please, too? Sorry, Chief, forgot about you. Thank you, Cosby.
Good evening, everybody.
Saturday, we had a celebration at the promenade. We had a parade and a celebration at our promenade to commemorate our 100th year anniversary of our fire department. And it was a great day. It was absolutely fantastic day. I think the chief best said it. It was special when you see people from all over town come to participate in an event. The diversity, just the good feeling that we had out there all day. It was just special, and I think it represented the community that we are here in Linden. So it was just good to see everybody had a great time. The fire department did an excellent job, particularly these two gentlemen to my left, who basically they coordinated the whole effort. So I just want to thank them for doing a fantastic job, and I want to give the fire department, read a proclamation with regards to their 100 years of service to this community. The proclamation reads as, whereas the Linden Fire Department has had a long and proud history as a career department since 1916, a century ago, and whereas the Borough of Linden formed a volunteer hose company #1 under the leadership of Harry D. Houston in 1905, and the Township of Linden began fire protection in 1908 with the creation of the Washington Hook and Ladder Company on Greer Avenue in 1950. 4 more of those hose companies were formed to protect the Linden community, and whereas Elmer Glover was hired as a driver for the Central Engine Company on July 1st, 1916, and he lived in the new firehouse, which was situated on the corners of Wood and Morris Avenue, and he responded to all fires in the township in the 1916 American La France pumper, and was met by the different volunteer companies who would pull hose carts to the fires. And whereas in 1926, the borough and township of Linden merged, and it was at this time the City of Linden's fire department became a reality, disbanding the volunteer companies, and whereas today, the Linden Fire Department employs 112 full-time firefighters and consists of 4 firehouses, 4 engines, 1 ladder, 2 ambulances, a fireboat, and a decontamination truck. And its Fire Prevention Bureau conducts all life hazard business inspections as well as fire investigations. And whereas the Linden Fire Department has a long history of fighting fires in the residential, business, and industrial areas, and through it all, the Linden Fire Department has stood proud and faced the enemy head-on. And whereas the Linden FMBA Local 34 and Fire Officers Local 234 were recognized for their charitable efforts and involvement with the FMBA, and here in Linden, they are always visible, supporting, and volunteering in all community events. And now therefore it be proclaimed that I, Derek Armstead, Mayor of the City of Linden, in the state of New Jersey, on the 16th day of July, 2016, do hereby congratulate the Linden Fire Department for their continued success and service to this great city of Linden, and thank them for their constant commitment to the betterment of our community, its residents, businesses, and corporations, which they wholeheartedly are deserving of, and wish them a happy 100th anniversary. And once again, I just want to thank them for being the great department that they are. I'm sure our founding fathers here in Linden would be very proud of them.
Mine's bigger. You want to read it? No, thank you, sir. It's funny, we're waiting to present this at the parade, and I'm speaking to the mayor, and we're talking about wearing glasses, and he says the DH was 42, and as he's telling me this, he doesn't have his glasses on, and he had a little thing, which the letters were like this big, so he was able to read it. I have a resolution from the joint legislative of the state, the Senate, and the General Assembly by Senators Coteri and Assemblyman Green and Kennedy. Whereas the Senate and General Assembly of the State of New Jersey are pleased to honor and salute the Linden Fire Department as it celebrates its auspicious 100th anniversary with a special parade and party on July 16th, 2016. And whereas the firefighters of the Linden Fire Department have worked diligently and with steadfast commitment for the past century to ensure the safety and well-being of the residents of the Linden area. And whereas established 100 years ago, the Linden Fire Department has grown and prospered with each year, continually adding the latest in firefighting equipment, gear, and technique. And whereas the strength and success of the state of New Jersey and the vitality of our community depend in great measure upon selfless organizations exemplified by the Linden Fire Department and its members, who have proven themselves to be models of excellence in duty and performance. And whereas it is both right and proper for this legislature to pause on its deliberations to note the remarkable achievements and exceptional devotion of the firefighters of the Linden Fire Departments on the memorable occasion of its 100th anniversary, now therefore be resolved by the Senate and General Assembly of the State of New Jersey that this legislature hereby congratulates and commends the brave firefighters, both past and present, of the Linden Fire Department for 1 century of peerless service to the community and extend sincere best wishes for continued success and vigor. And by it further resolved that a duly authenticated copy of this resolution signed by the Senate President of the Assembly, Senate President and the Assembly Speaker, and attested by the Senate Secretary and the Assembly Clerk, be transmitted to the Linden Fire Department. Signed by President of the Senate, Stephen Sweeney, and Speaker of the General Assembly, Vinnie Prieto? Yes. Congratulations, Chief.
Thank you very much.
Gentlemen.
Okay. Well, I guess take the picture first. Okay. As chairperson of the Fire Committee, I just want to say thank you, especially to our chairperson, Deputy Chief Kevin Brady and Matt Prybush, as well as Chief Dooley. Saturday was a spectacular event. It was a history-making day in the city of Linden, where people 100 years from now will be looking back to say, what did they do in Linden on July 16th for the 100th anniversary? The planning that went into it was a lot of work, and I want to thank you two gentlemen for spearheading all that. On behalf of this council, I think we were all so amazed of how it was the number of people that came out. Everybody was just so happy to be part of that day. The kids were happy, the rides. It was a great event. So on behalf of the council, I want to thank you for putting on such a spectacular event in the city of Linden. I know myself, I can't speak for the rest of the council, but I can't wait to see the video, because we missed a good portion of it as being part of the parade, so I look forward to seeing that. So once again, thank you.
Just real quick, the first thing that we would really like to say from the fire department is to our city government, our council people, our city hall offices, the mayor. This wouldn't have happened without their support and their willingness to allow us to celebrate and honor all those firefighters that have gone before all of us. There's a lot of things I could talk about that happened Saturday, but the one thing I just want to say to you all, if you saw the event, if you were there for the day, you actually saw what I think is the essential nature of the city of Linden and its departments and its community. The parade doesn't happen without the help of a lot of departments. The CFO, making sure that we had some of the resources necessary to pull the day off. Public Works, Recreation, The police department and OEM, who have the challenge of controlling the streets and the crowds through the day, and then as we moved into the plaza, the promenade, to have the party, you had the whole community there. And I sat at one point just looking at it, and I looked at the police department intermixing with the crowd, moving around, the recreation guys making the bands happen, the party happen, and keeping the party area clean and so that everybody could enjoy themselves. And then how much fun the citizens, who ultimately, it was a day about us, but truthfully, we exist for you all, to take care of the citizens. And that was probably as rewarding to me as walking down Wood Avenue with the firefighters, was to see the citizens, the city of Linden, all joined together, having a good time, enjoying themselves in what was truly a very joyous, happy, positive event for the city of Linden. I'm very, very proud of my committee. Kevin Brady is the chair. There were about 8 of the guys came to me last year and said, Chief, we need to do something. Run with it. And anybody who was out Saturday saw the end result of letting your best people loose and giving them the headroom they need to work. And the success of the day is due all to that committee. I get to sit here and make the speech. But truthfully, all the acclaim, all the accomplishment was that committee. So thank you on behalf of the fire department to the committee. Thank you all.
Ordinance on hearing. This is the date and time established for the public hearing for ordinances and hearing. Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-50?
Bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $121,000 for the acquisition of 2 Mason dump trucks with plows for the Public Works Department and authorizing the issuance of $114,950 in bonds or notes of the city for financing part of the appropriation.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Then may I have a motion to pass this ordinance?
Mr. Chair, I move the hearing for ordinance 60-50 be closed, the ordinance adopted, and I request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-51?
Bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $143,000 for the acquisition of various items of capital equipment for the municipal garage and authorizing the issuance of $135,850,000 bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? May I have a motion to pass ordinance 60-51, please?
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that this hearing be closed and ordinance 60-51 be adopted and seek a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-52?
Ordinance approving the application for a long-term tax exemption and authorizing the execution of a financial agreement with Griselli Road Urban Renewal LLC.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
I move to close the public hearing on ordinance 60-52 and ask for a second, please.
Second. Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-53?
Ordinance amending Chapter 2, Department of Police, establishing the position of Police Director and providing for the Director's duties and responsibilities.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? At this time, I would like... What?
What?
Council President, make a motion.
I would like to have a
Table.
motion to table this ordinance.
I make a motion to table it.
Second.
Mr. Council President, if I may, I would ask for a motion to close the public portion of the hearing and then ask for the motion to table.
Council President, make a motion to close the public hearing and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
No, because I wanted to speak. I said yes when you said that.
I didn't hear you.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. At this time, can I have a motion to table the ordinance?
Council President, make a motion to table ordinance 60-53 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
No.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
May I ask who the second was on that? I didn't.
That was me.
Okay.
I think Lisa you were second, right?
Yes, that was the second.
Lisa was the second.
Mr. Clerk, at this time, can you read ordinance 60-54, please?
Ordinance amending an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Establishing a Schedule of Titles, Salary Ranges, and Regulations for Maintaining the Classification and Salary Standardization Plan of all employees of the City of Linden by adding Schedule 4-KK-4."
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone here that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? In that case, may I have a motion to pass the ordinance, please?
Council President, make a motion for the passage of ordinance 60-54 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
No.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-55?
An ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 7, Traffic, Section 7-33, by adding Section 7-33.1A. Add 1120 North Sile Street, one space along the northeast curb line of North Sile Street, 260 feet northwest of the projected northwest curbing of Karen Terrace, continuing for a length of 22 feet in a northwest direction.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion that we close this hearing, adopt ordinance 60-55, and seek a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes, the consent agenda. All items listed with asterisks are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member or citizen so request, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Items 1 through 5. Does anyone wish to remove any item? In that case, may I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move items 1 through 5 on the consent agenda for approval, and I request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamikaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. At this time, we're going with the committee reports and comments from our members. Councilwoman Orman, would you like to get us started?
Absolutely, thank you, Mr. President. For the Revenue Enhancement and Development, I will refer all comments to the mayor for this meeting, but I will speak a little bit at the Parking Authority. We did have a meeting on 6/29 with all parties of interest to clarify any questions that were of their concern. For the first ward, we're going to have an automated trash pickup, which is going to start on the east side of town. That consists of St. George Avenue through Curtis Street, but will include Seymour, Baldwin, Washington, Wheatsheaf, Clark, Walnut, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Avenues. You'll receive your cans on or about July 25th, and your pickup will begin on August 1st. You will receive instructions on where to place your cans for optimization, and your pickup day for trash in some instances will change from Monday to only Thursday. I just also want to advise you that summer sanitation hours do begin at 6 o'clock a.m., so please have your cans out the night before or quite early. I've received calls that some people are actually being missed, and I'm not quite sure whether it's because they're pulling it out too late or whether or not the sanitation department is actually having a difficult time getting to their cans. If you live on a street where parking is an issue, I'm asking that you kindly work with your neighbors, be neighborly, talk amongst one another so cars are not blocking some of the spots where the cans are. I've received a lot of special requests for trash pickups throughout the month of July. If you call DPW, they're going to just refer you to call me for scheduling. But I do want to let you know that special circumstances are the only reason why we will schedule a trash pickup. And those special circumstances are limited to, but not just including moving in or moving out of your home, if you have a death in a family, and certain emergencies. But once again, that is up to the discretion of DPW. Yard waste from trimming your trees should not be put out with your grass. Unfortunately, we're not able to mulch tree branches along with the grass, so we ask that you keep those separate. If you have any questions as to when you can put those out, or if you'd like a special pickup, please call me. I am keeping in mind that we do want to draw a fine line between keeping your property beautiful and trimmed versus having the debris linger in your backyard. I am very mindful of that. I'd also like to just let everyone know that yellow curbs are now being painted, and I've seen some of them in the first ward, so I'd like to thank the summer crew for working so hard with getting those done for us. I've also requested blinking lights for some of our corners that did not qualify for four-way stops because of the traffic, but are of some concern, so I did put a request in for those. I'd like to also thank the Executive Board of the Mayor's Youth Commission for Project Graduation. It was a spectacular event for all of our high school students, and like I said, I just want to give them a round of applause for putting together such a wonderful event for our kids. Also, congratulations to the fire department on your 100-year anniversary. It was a magnificent time. I mean, I really enjoyed myself. Even with the rain, everyone stayed and had such a great time. And I'd like to also congratulate the new police recruits that we swore in during the month of July. It was my first time attending a ceremony such as that. And it's just great to see our young men who want to wear the blue and honor the badge. And my only message to the gentleman that we swore in is just, it's a very, very serious job. And I just wish you many blessings with this new endeavor. It's going to take a lot of time, a lot of effort, and I just wish upon you just the wisdom for making good decisions, and to God bless you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Byer?
Yes, Mr. President. The councilman in the 4th Ward has requested a street light at 926 Middlesex Street, pole number 60394. I was out the other night checking out the location, and it is pretty dark there. Actually, the neighbors left their porch lights on to brighten up the area. So, Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that we approve this street light, and I seek a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
All right, continue my report. If you live in the second ward and you have a city tree and you have broken limbs from the storm we just had, give me a call. I have Public Works go right over there and remove those limbs so they don't cause a hazard and fall and hurt someone. My phone number is 908-494-0980. Also, if you have branches on your property that fell down from the storm, put them out to the curb, and the Public Works is going around picking those branches up. And from the construction code, I have a report. The Construction Code Department has issued 194 permits and 81 certificates for the month of June. They generated $68,658 in fees for the month of June. And that's the end of my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Brown?
Okay, I'm going to have a short report so we can get to the end over there. Budget review and finance. Approval is requested for filing finance actions. The payment of bills totaling $1,867,351.68. Bills have been signed by the mayor, the council president, and finance chairman, and a detailed check register and vouchers are on file in the clerk's office. Item number 2, we are in receipts of investments made by the city treasurer for the month of June at the rate of 0.15%. I move for approval and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
Yeah. Other than that, my report, I'm going to save for next month because this month I have a newsletter going out starting this week. So any third ward news will be in that newsletter. So we'll keep it short and a report.
Thank you, Councilman Brown. That's one for the record. All right. Councilman Brooks, please.
I'm usually the shortest one.
Thank you, Council President. My report will start, as always, with a report provided by Traffic Maintenance Supervisor, Mr. Tyrone Givens. It's with regard to his monthly report. I hereby submit the monthly financial report for the Division of Transportation and Parking. This report includes the collection of on-street parking meters, railroad parking lots, railroad parking permits, and merchant parking permits for the month of June 2016. New York side collections, $5,022. Trenton side collections, $6,477.25. Credit card transactions, $25,710.50. Parking meter collections, $17,729.60. Railroad permits, $34,355.66 for a grand total of $89,295.03. With regard to our community, I'll be saying some of the same things. I'm sure you'll hear this being repeated back and forth as we go. With regard to tree limbs that are down, again, I'd like to thank our DPW, our traffic division, our guys that came out and worked late nights on trees. I had a tree down on Curtis Street between Roselle Street and Bauer Street that came down and came across the street, preventing traffic from traveling up and down that busy roadway. Those guys came out late at night, cut that tree up. The next morning, I got up 6 o'clock, that tree was gone. Access to that street open again. That is not just that street. There's several streets like that where trees were removed. A simple call was made, and there was no problem whatsoever. So thank you to those guys that did that hard work and stayed late to do that, to support myself. I'm sure every other chairperson and committee person that's here as well, and most especially myself, with regard to those streets that were taken care of expeditiously. Thank you very much. Also, maybe jinxing myself here, Frank, but I'm going to say it anyway. For those residents in the Fourth Ward that are in the area of West Baltimore Avenue by the railroad tracks, and also Baltimore Avenue between Union Street and Henry Street, thank you for keeping an eye open. I have not gotten a single call with regard to a trash pickup, a dump in those two areas. That has been ongoing. I asked here for the community to keep an eye open, to please report anything that you see, report the color, the make, the model, the plate. Please continue to do that, because we've had no dumping in that area. That keeps our community safe, it keeps our community clean, and it affords me the opportunity to not have to call DPW to come out and pick those things up. So community, Fourth Ward, you're doing a great job. Continue to do so. Let's not let up. Just because I'm saying we haven't gotten anything doesn't mean that somebody is lurking right out there waiting to dump something down. It is our community. Let's take care of it. We're doing a great job. Let's continue to do so. I would like to speak just briefly with regard to a young man who we gave a resolution to here last year. His name is Micah Jonathan Pettit Holmes. He is a Linden High School graduate. He is now a graduate of LIU University. He is an academic All-American and an athletic All-American. He is now in San Salvador running. He came in fourth, so he was one spot away from making the Olympics. Congratulations to Micah Jonathan Pettit Holmes, another Linden guy in the Fourth Ward, did a great job, had a great career at LIU University, represented Linden with, again, an academic All-American and an athletic All-American. Great job. We talked about the summer and our children coming out, and it's always great for me to see our children involved in the parks, in our summer program, in our day camps, in our playgrounds. Always great. On the other side of that, when I was a kid, I'm sure when some of you guys were a kid, I don't want to put you in the same age group as me, but we didn't have very many motorized vehicles. We rode our bike, you know, and we might have rode them in the street, but there were not that many motorized vehicles. Guys, please, you know, to the parents of those students, those children that have motorized vehicles, certainly I would love to see them have them and enjoy them. But again, I would sincerely hope that you're having a serious conversation with them with regard to how to properly use those vehicles, riding in the street, and understanding that they have to obey the laws as it relates to traffic. So I'm sure that, you know, based on this conversation, you'll have that conversation. If you haven't already had it, please have it again with your son or daughter who has a motorized vehicle. And again, I'm sure you taught them the right way, but the minute they go around the corner and you don't see them, they're just like my sons. We hope. So again, let's have a conversation and continue to have that conversation, because we want to see all of our children safe and have fun and be able to get back and forth to the parks and enjoy them. And Councilwoman Orman mentioned about the streets and the sidewalks that are being painted. Again, we're talking about not just this ward, because I believe this happens in all of our wards. I'm riding down Carnegie Street and Lincoln Street. Work is being done on those streets, putting sidewalks in and, you know, handicap signs, and it is seriously hot. It is really hot outside. As I'm riding down, I'm watching our residents coming out from both sides of the street, providing those laborers with water, handing them water bottles, and sitting down having a conversation with them, offering them some shade. That's the kind of thing that all of our communities do. I'm not saying should do, I'm saying do, because I believe that our neighborhoods, all of our neighborhoods, from the 1st through the 10th, every one of our neighborhoods have the right kind of people with the right kind of stuff and the right attitude as it relates to people who work for the city, come in and out of our communities, enjoy our parks, enjoy us as people, and I think we represent ourselves well every place we go with anybody who comes in and out of our community. So great job, and I'm sure it's being done in every one of the wards. But a special thanks to those people on Lincoln Street and Carnegie Street that I saw providing water to workers who were out there in 90, 95 plus with high humidity. Great job by all. Thank you, Council President. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilman Brooks. I was told a long time ago by my grandmother, when something looks too good, it just looks too good. And Councilman Brown has not finished with his report.
There's one thing. I want to call up Frank from Public Works, because with the new garbage cans that are being sent out, it's going to affect the 1st, 3rd, and 4th ward. I guess new garbage cans will come out, so Frank's going to give a little bit of our time schedule, especially since it affects 3 wards. So technically, I'm not speaking.
Good evening. My name is Frank McCucci, Supervisor of Public Works. Right now, we are going to start. Right now, we're going to start with the 3rd and 4th Ward and part of the 1st. New cans are coming in on the 25th. They will be delivered during the week. They will have specific instructions with the new schedules of when their garbage will be picked. It's a one-a-day collection per section. It's broken down into 4 sections. It'll be a Monday, Tuesday, a Thursday, and a Friday. So everything they need to know will be with the can when it is delivered to their homes. It's going to probably start the beginning of August is when collection will start. But everything will be explanatory in the can. There will be an envelope. Please have the residents make sure they read the letters and make sure they understand their schedule. It's only one-day collection now, and that's all it'll be. Anything else? Okay.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Cosby Hurling.
Good evening. I'm not going to pretend like I'm going to be brief either, because I have a lot of stuff to report. I'm going to start with the personnel report, which is a copy in front. If anybody has any questions or comments, we'll entertain them. No? Okay. So the report is slightly new this month. I just kind of gave it a quick format so I can read it quickly. Item number 1 is to hire. We're going to be hiring from our seasonal crew from DPW. We're also hiring from the Summer Clean Communities Program and the Summer Youth Program. We're hiring for part-time clerks and recreation leaders. So we have items A through P in number 1 for hire. We're hiring under Section 2 unpaid interns, and they're going to be working through the engineering department, and 1 will be working in the mayor's department with the office of the mayor. We have no FMLA this month. Number 4 is acceptance of the separation of employment for the former city employees, and they're listed here A through E. We have staff transfers, item number 5. We have title changes, item number 6. And I wanted to just say about the title changes. This has been a long time coming. If some of you all who watch regularly or attend the meetings remember, we called in February for an audit to be done in all of the city departments so that we can have our employees working in the appropriate titles. So this is being done, and it's being done by the Division of Personnel and Mrs. Zach, who's actually the authority over personnel. So it's getting done slowly but surely so that we can make sure that the folks are doing the job, they're getting paid for the jobs that they are doing. So you'll see a lot of different title changes here, and we have a couple of transfers also. Number 7, we are going to publicly advertise employment opportunities. We have 2 truck driver positions, and the requirements are specific. They must have CDL licenses with either a Class A or B endorsement, and they're going to be working for the DPW department. So there are 2 driver positions for Linden residents that are going to be advertised by the end of the week publicly. We're going to re-advertise the assistant engineer position. This is going to go to the county and to the state because we didn't receive anyone from Linden who met the requirements. There's specific education requirements, and we expect that, the candidates who are going to come in will have those so that we can get the right people as the assistant engineer in the engineering department. And lastly, number 8, we have 3 items. They are administrative changes. 1 is to correct a typographical error from in May. Then we're going to have someone who's, not retiring, who was retiring, and we have to give them permission to not retire. And then we have a salary increase. So this is the report. I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the report, and I seek a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes on all items except for number 5, no.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes for all, abstain on item 5A.
Brooks?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
I'm voting yes to everything with the exception of 8C. I will vote no.
Sadowski?
Yes for everything except 5A.
Strano?
Voting yes on all items with the exception of 5A, which I will abstain on.
Yemakaitis?
Yes on all except for 5A, which I am voting no.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
It passes. Okay.
That's it? Oh, no. I was trying to see if the transfer made it for 5A, because it's a transfer to the same title in a different department for one of the city employees that was recommended by the department head. So 5A was approved? Okay. So again, my original comments were back to, we have people in positions, and we have to have the right people doing the jobs that, what we're paying them for, so. All right, I just want to make sure everything went according to the way they were asking. In the 5th Ward, I want everybody to remember on the 21st, our annual community cookout, and we've, for the past 4 years, been doing back-to-school supplies. But this year, we're just going to do the cookout with the back-to-school supplies. I didn't want to cancel it because when I learned, like a week ago, that there's a citywide event being planned, we had already calendared this and started promoting it and started collecting for it. So this may be the last year that we specifically collect school supplies, because I'm all for the city doing it as a group. We can do it all as one, and if we have any leftover supplies, I've already committed to donating them to the event that the city proper is going to run on the Monday following our event on the 21st. So plan to attend. We have a commitment from the fire chief. They're going to be there with the fire trucks, and we have See and Learn, who's partnered with us every year since we've been doing this. And we also have the Family Center, of course, who's going to help, and we're going to donate the school supplies. It's from 1 o'clock until 3 o'clock at IOZ Park on Dill Avenue. And we usually have a good time. This year, since we're not having a ward competition, we're going to do a 1-mile walk run race, and so we'll have prizes for that for different age groups. So the children, then you'll have, I guess, the younger people, and then the older folks will have different prizes for each age group for the walk run. On July the 30th at the Wilson Pond, the Hooked on Fishing Not on Drugs Club is going to do a pond cleanup. This is our last event for the year. And, if anybody wants to join us, you're welcome to it. But we had 13 kids this year, and we're going to do a pond cleanup. We'll let the kids do some fishing, and we'll do just another fishing activity. And we'll start again in the spring. So I'm looking forward to July 30th for that, and we'll keep going. I just spoke to our Bureau Lieutenant for Traffic. He left the room, but there were some concerns about the humps, the signs that are actually at the humps on Dill Avenue. And, they're valid concerns. The signs are behind the tree, so you can't really see the sign when you pull up and then you fly over the hump. They are slowing people down, however. Once you go over it once, you'll never do it again because you know that you're supposed to slow down. So when he gets back into work, somebody from the Bureau of Traffic is going to take a look just to make sure that, the signs are where they need to be, and we can get the signs so people can, know that they're coming up to a speed hump and safely pass over them. I revisited an issue that I brought up a couple of years ago with the judge. Everybody's familiar with the supplemental labor assistance program through the county, the SLAP people. They clean up the railroad tracks and they do other stuff. I asked, and the judge has no problem with us getting a program for nonviolent offenders in the city who can help us. So when there's an issue with labor, we don't have enough labor, somebody needs to cut this grass or that grass or whatever, we can get us the SLAP program through the City of Linden Court and supplement our labor just to cut the grass on public properties, or even, wherever the need fits. Whatever SLAP can do, we would like to have our own dedicated team. So I spoke with the judge last week, and she was going to revisit that with her staff. Then that would have to go through the Insurance Commission, so we can get something going here in the City of Linden. The last thing I have is there were some concerns from our neighbors in Dill Avenue because of the gate being locked. The Housing Corporation, the Housing Authority, and the Mongill Corporation are not run by the city. I've spoken to the director over there, and the commissioners decided because of safety that they're going to lock the gate at certain hours. I'm waiting to hear back from the management company. The concern is public safety, which means I've asked, can they get a security car or some sort at the plaza, the 1600 East St. George's Avenue Plaza? He's looking into it with the owners of the property, but the long and short of it is the people will have to go all the way around the block. Some of them are physically unable to do that. So yesterday I actually responded to an initiative through the county. I don't know if this is feasible or possible, but they have a senior in motion van. And if we are lucky enough to get that senior van, maybe we can make a schedule that when the gate is locked, we might be able to get the residents around the block to the grocery store or, to the beauty supply store, whatever it is. But just know, we're trying to be creative and do what I'm trying to be creative and see how I can help my neighbors over there. But again, it's done through the commissioners and it's done for a reason. And, every commissioner will tell you that they're looking out for the safety of everybody because they had some issues. And my number is 908-718-7933, talk or text, or you can send me an email if you have any concerns. And, I wanted to talk about, I want to play. That concludes my report. Wait, no, my son's birthday is Thursday, so I want to wish him happy birthday. Happy birthday, Bill. And then my other son is next week. Happy birthday, Derek. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Yes. Councilman Sadowski?
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Quick few announcements. The City Clerk Licensing Division is submitting this monthly report for the month of June 2016. This office issued 79 dog licenses, 57 miscellaneous licenses, and collected $2,580. No cat licenses yet. The following licenses, permits, and transcripts issued in the city clerk's office during the month of June 2016 and fees received have been turned over to the municipal treasurer of the city of Linden. 135 birth, deaths, and marriage transcripts, 27 marriage and civil union licenses, 4 miscellaneous revenue, 3 bingo raffles, 131 EDRS vital statistics, no burial permits. Interest earned was $47. There was 300 total transactions. Total that the city received was $4,506.52. The state received $675. I'd like to just make this announcement. The American Red Cross, in conjunction with the Linden Fire Department, will be continuing their fire detector installation program again in the early fall. The next canvassing area has yet to be determined. The Linden Fire Department is committed to the safety of the citizens of Linden, and they feel this program is essentially helping to keep all residents safe. Anyone with an immediate need of a smoke detector should contact the chief's office at 908-474-4550. The 6th Ward they will be canvassing the ward probably in September. So you could wait for September. They will be coming to your door to ask. Before I forget, since we're talking fire department, I just want to congratulate them on a wonderful parade. It's something that we will remember for many years. We had another meeting with the Accident Review Committee discussing really the parking in Linden. It's, if you know, it's getting very tough. there are a lot of things. We have our meetings. What we're really talking about is permit parking, or the 2-hour parking. We haven't come to any specific conclusions. I'm sure we'll have to have a couple of meetings, and then we will let you know what it is. If you have any kind of questions or whatever you want, please give me a call at 908-862-0749. So this is the start, because we know parking is a problem. Well, have a good month. Thank you. That concludes it.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Strano?
Thank you, Council President. At this time, I would just ask if our Supervisor in Public Works, Frank McCucci, could come up and just give a brief update on the damage around the city due to that storm that blew through here yesterday, and where the Department of Public Works is at, you know, as far as our progress made on a cleanup, and what projects or what might have to take a back seat while we do this cleanup. Thank you, Frank.
I got some of it. All I know is one thing, it was a heck of a mess. Okay, Frank McCucci, Public Works Supervisor. As we all know, yesterday we had a real bad storm. We concentrated on our primary areas of opening up all the streets, making sure that we had access, that the ambulance and fire, we opened all them up. We helped residents. We actually took a tree off one resident's house. We took a tree off a car. And right now, we're still working out there, trying to finish up with this, wherever this tornado, whatever this thing was that came in, it slammed us pretty good. We had certain places we had to stop because there was wires down. We had to wait for PSE&G. We had to wait for PSE&G. Once they contacted us, we went back and we took care of the residents. So this way, they could have their cars back or whatever damage they could access to their houses. Right now, we're still out there. We're picking, I got a garbage truck out there, picking up big limbs, sticks, stuff like that around the wards. We had small trucks out last night trying to keep the roads clean, picking up all the sticks. Whatever they could do, they did about 30 loads apiece, running back and forth like crazy. They worked all night last night. If you have any problems, if you have any issues that we missed, because there was quite a few that we missed that nobody ever even contacted us about, we went around and we surveyed ourselves today. So that's what we're working on now. But if you know of anything that we could help, we could do, please contact me at Public Works. I'll be more than happy to help you. 908-474-8666.
Thank you, Frank. And I want to thank the department for doing a heck of a job. They were out there, they responded right away, and of course it happened after hours, so thank the guys that stayed behind and contributed to the cleanup.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Took a little coaxing, but you got it out of us. An ongoing issue that I have down in the 7th Ward is regarding our railroad crossing that we're seeking a quiet zone on, and I'd like Chief Dooley to expound upon that if he could, please.
Thank you, Councilman. As of last month's meeting, we were very close to moving forward with the establishment of the quiet zone when Conrail threw a, and pun intended, roadblock up and decided they wanted an elaborate, what they refer to as channelization system put up near the crossing. And basically, all that is a way of making sure that people can't drive around the arms at the crossing. There was a very elaborate, very expensive plan generated that was just something that was not practicable, either because of the cost of the design and, as importantly, the way that the design limited our access to Public Works and the Fire Academy, so that wouldn't work. We're very fortunate in that our city engineer, George Verchik, and one of our grant people were able to get together, redesign this whole thing, greatly reduce the scope and the cost of the channelization system, and they have presented that plan to Conrail. And now we're just waiting for Conrail to say, give us their approval, hopefully. That was the last thing in the way. Everything is in place as far as moving forward. Now, if they approve this plan, then we can move forward with the construction of these things, and we can put this project to rest. I know this is a big burden for Councilman Strano. He is very concerned about the ward and the neighborhood. He and I speak a few times a week regarding it, and I just have to counsel him to be patient. We're moving and trying to get one of the biggest industries in the country to kind of meet our town's needs. And just so that you all are aware or rest assured that this is not at all for a lack of trying on the part of the councilman, myself, or the city engineer. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. You know, they say the wheels of government turn slow, right? Okay. I'd like to join my other colleagues on council in congratulating our fire department on celebrating their 100 years as a department, which I may add is a department that's second to none. They're certainly a group of individuals that we all can be very proud of, and the event on Saturday was certainly something that proved that out. In our police department, I have to mention I was extremely pleased with the results the residents of my ward received due to what will remain as an anonymous tip-off regarding some suspicious activity. Not more than one day after I contacted our narcotics division, an arrest was made, and an individual was brought into custody. I have to commend them. You know, again, you know, it's like sometimes you just get pleasantly surprised by the things that you see, and again, it's something we should be proud of. I want to urge all my colleagues on council and any residents, just remember everything is confidential. You can remain anonymous, but we're sending a message to people who want to dirty up our homes and our neighborhoods with things like drug dealing and activities that they think they can just get away with. You know, our department's on top of it, and I have to commend them again and thank them. On a somber note, I have to report that one of Linden's most passionate advocates passed away. Beatrice, better known as B. Burnside, died on June 23rd, and I personally owe a world of gratitude to her. She was my actual campaign manager during my first and successful run for city council, when I really had no clue on how to run a campaign or what I had gotten myself into. She was a tough gal to work with, as many that worked with her can attest, but she was right more times than not. And B was my seeing eye dog during my early years on council, as she steered me when I needed it most and had my back. And it needs mentioning that I surely would not have been elected that first time in the primary election of 1995 without her help. B was a guard dog for the residents and the environment of Linden. It was her vigil that kept corporate dollars and political greed from blinding the gatekeepers of Linden by making sure the right people were made aware of what was being proposed when in fact money was put in front of people's property values and health. And B was very adept at getting our generous corporate neighbors in Linden to support causes that she championed. But many times she reached into her own pocketbook to fund those causes she believed so strongly in. And she did it from the bottom of her heart. Never did she ask for anything personal in return. Her greatest environmental achievement, besides the fight that she led and the fire she kept lit to defeat the GAF toxic waste incinerator in Linden, was the creation of the Hawk Rise Wildlife Sanctuary next to our landfill. She made former engineering employee, engineer Jeff Sias, myself, and others jump through hoops to get that sanctuary dedicated by the city of Linden in perpetuity, even as her health was failing her in her later years. Somehow I want people to visit that sanctuary to know how it came about and who that person was that made that sanctuary possible. B is in large the person that I can truly say changed for better the course of my family and my life. I know she did the same for many other people too, but I wanted to say this out loud and to the many people here and those that may be watching on TV. Thank you, Mr. President. It's the end of my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Yemakaitis.
Thank you, Mr. President. From the Fire Department, the Fire Prevention Bureau collected a total of $4,896.35 for the month of June 2016. The ambulance reimbursement systems collected a total of $59,829.26 for the month of June, with a total deposits to date for 2016 of $597.76. As we also earlier and mentioned, the fire department had a spectacular event for their 100th birthday. Again, I urge everyone to watch the video. I believe it will be on TV 36 or on FiOS. I look forward to seeing it, as I mentioned. We're going to have some new stuff in that video. For the first time, we had one of our employees, Brad Creanzo, up in a bucket filming it. So it should be a little bit better camera than the Halloween parade. They're getting better at it. So I urge everyone to watch the video. It was a great event. From the Mayor's Youth Commission, they're going to have August 29th, the Backpack to School event at the Raymond Wood Bower Promenade from 5:30 to 8 p.m. This is in conjunction with the Fire Department, FMBA, the Linden PBA, and many other groups that are looking to join in. We're looking to have one spectacular event for the city. What we heard from some of the PTA presidents is there were so many different little backpack giveaways where the kids were getting backpacks but nothing to put in them. Or you'd get a high school kid with a box of crayons. So we're looking to seek donations of various school supplies, thumb drives for the high school kids, binders. So please go, we have the Facebook page. It should be on the city website of what the donations we are looking for. We have drop-off locations at the mayor's office in City Hall, Firehouse number 1, 2, and 3, and the JTG Center. And like I said, we're looking for various different donations. So please look and see. We talked to the PTA presidents. We're looking to get supplies for all ages. So please, if you'd like to make a monetary donation, so supplies or other things for the event that day, monetary donations can be made to the Mayor's Youth Commission, mailed to 301 Northwood Avenue, and we will get the donation. So it's going to be a great event, so please save the date. Again, that's August 29th from 5:30 to 8 p.m. Okay, for the 8th Water Report, thank goodness we did not have a lot of trees down in the 8th Ward yesterday. We had some branches. They're being addressed. If they weren't picked up, they will be picked up very shortly. I want to make mention that we have the following streets are scheduled to be paved in the 8th Ward. Chandler Avenue from East Blanky Street to East Elizabeth, Peter Street from Henry to Passaic, St. Mark's from Essex to East Elizabeth, Ashton Avenue, and Linden Avenue. There were rumors that it wasn't going to be paved due to the cut in funding, but it is going to get paved. I don't have the date yet, but it will be done. We have many other streets that need to be paved in the 8th Ward due to all the utility work that's been going on in Districts 1 and 2 in particular. Our engineer is meeting with the contractor and going over repairs that need to be done and repaving work. So I will be reporting further on this probably next month or in September. But please, if you have any issues at your home from some of the work that was done, please contact me. I know a few you have, and they've been remedied immediately. So please don't hesitate to contact me. I've also been getting reports of a lot of calls of residents complaining about dogs in the park. Please, I'm an animal lover, please don't take your dog to the park. The city playgrounds are meant for the children. We do have a dog park in Linden. You're welcome to bring them there. Walk them around the neighborhood. And please clean up, just that also. But please, know the playgrounds are intended for the children. A traffic study has been done. I have a copy of it here regarding some of the trucks that have been going through the 8th Ward, some of the side streets, the heavy tractor trailers. We're looking, this is in conjunction with the Elizabeth Police Department. We're going to have to sit down with them and go over this report because it involves both towns, Elizabeth and Linden. So I will be reporting further on that next month, as well as park plastics. The places, I don't even have words to describe it. I expressed my concerns to the council, and they were very supportive. We're looking to remedy this as soon as possible. It is a plight to the neighborhood and a hazard, so our legal team, our department heads are all working together, seeing what could be the quickest remedy to get rid of park plastics out of the neighborhood. It's just deplorable condition, so I will report further on that next month. I want to say thank you to the Bayway Refinery, particularly Infinium and Phillips 66, for hosting the meeting last month in Prepare for an Emergency. We had a great turnout from the neighborhood, and some important information was given out. They particularly gave out this packet for the neighbors regarding Plan for an Emergency. It tells you what to do for different types of emergencies, whether a chemical release, a storm. Like yesterday, I thought maybe we'd end up using it. That looked like a tornado out there. But they're also discussed the Nixle system. So I will have more information on that in my newsletter. And if anybody would like to, from the 8th Ward that would like to receive this, this is important regarding, notification. This is going your window. I will drop it off to you, so please give me a call. I will get that to you. And just for the last part of my report, August 6th, we're having the 8th Ward Community Picnic at the Dorothy Ford Park, which is formerly St. Mark's, from 12 noon to 4 p.m. This is a free picnic that I will be hosting. Many of the neighbors said they, were discussing neighborhood watch and issues like that, so we're just getting together for a day of meeting our neighbors and sitting down to discuss how we could make a better neighborhood for our family. So I will have more information going out on that. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Medina?
Yes, thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. I do have a short report and also a library report as well, but before I start my report, I just want to again just thank the DPW crew. They are our first line of responders along with the police and fire. Without these guys clearing these roads, our ambulance, fire trucks, and our police vehicles cannot get access through these roads. So again, these guys do go out there and do a hell of a job and get the city back in shape very quickly. And also OEM as well. Sorry, I almost missed these guys. I value these guys because the lights were out yesterday, so it was pretty dangerous, especially on Stiles and Princeton Road. So thank you, guys. That being said, I just want to continue to the library report. I have to read it off of text here. Wednesday, July 20th, a soldier from the troops that the Friends adopted this past year will be at the library at 12 noon. He wants to thank everyone for their donations, cards, and support to the unit during their deployment in Iraq. Also, a lot of programs are going on in the library, from movies from adults to children, children's summer reading books, clubs, arts and craft, children concerts, live wolves, and a live miniature horse are just some of what's happening. Stop by the library, visit our website, or visit our Facebook page at the Linden Public Library. 9th Ward, not really much going on in the 9th Ward. Again, the DPW crew have been out there tackling these issues. The only thing I do want to say with the 9th Ward, and I think we kind of all missed it here, but we all heard the news on this whole new trend, right? It's called Pokemon Go, right? So I've seen a lot of kids out there, especially up to 11, midnight, a little bit late. They're walking in the middle of the street. Please be very careful, especially when you're driving. Look out for these kids. They're seriously, they're stuck on their phone just looking for these Pokemons. So I think it's a great thing if you get the kids out from playing video games. It gets them walking a little bit, but it is a little bit dangerous when they're not paying attention, crossing the roads and whatnot. So I ask parents, I ask these kids, and also ask drivers, just be cautious of your surrounding, because they're out there. And I've been seeing more and more of them out there with this Pokemon Go. It's a new craze now, so maybe it'll die down eventually. Before I end my report, just want to say that the 9th Ward community did lose a legend. Doris Hennel, she sat in the library board for many, many years. She was also the library board president for many years as well, and very active in civic associations here in Linden, and just overall active in her community. She passed away a week ago. She will be missed in the 9th Ward community. I will certainly miss her as well. Again, a legend. She lived a long life and accomplished a lot of things, not only in her life, but here in the city of Linden. She was a longtime resident of the city of Linden. I did forget one item here, and I just want to share this with the 9th Ward community. We have a resolution here, 275. It's a shared service agreement with the county. We're finally upgrading the intersection on DeWitt and Raritan Road. That's also including mowing as well. We're going to get rid of the old louver style lights that people cannot see, and we're going to replace them with a new optical, so now people can actually stop instead of running what appears to be running that red light. With that being said, anyone needs to get a hold of me, 908-986-6100. Feel free to text me, email me, or even send me a message through the Linden 9th Ward Facebook page. I could always be reached. That concludes my report. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Hickey?
Good evening. Excuse the bad cold that I have this evening. First, I just truly like to thank the fire department and their committee members. I was so honored when I had lined up at the parade, and the bagpipes, all the sirens, it gave me chills. The overwhelming show of so many residents and every one of our departments sticking together in the city. It was a fabulous, fabulous day, and everyone is to be commended on that. And especially you, Sandy. You do a lot of work around this city lately, so I want to recognize Sandy Vasquez. Everyone knows I'm always a big supporter of OEM as well, and I just want to read something. We do have 2 OEM members here this evening, Roy Warden, and also one of my favorites, Doug Brook, Jr. But I'd like to read this because many times they go unrecognized. These members, most of them are on call 24/7, and they're always there to assist the fire department, the police department, DPW. As I was coming to a meeting last night, OEM truck was going around the corner trying to assist whoever they could. Joe Stigliano and staff, I just want to commend you and the members of the Linden OEM for the outstanding job that was done with the Linden Fire Department 100th Anniversary Parade on Saturday. I know that there were some trying times as staffing on the police side was limited at best, and the heat of the day was oppressive. Please let all the guys who came out know how proud I am to be associated with the organization, and thank them for a tremendous job that is done every time that we were called out, whether it is an emergency situation or a pre-scheduled event. Once again, job well done. And Captain Hart from the Linden Police Department also seconded that email. So thank you, guys. We really appreciate you. We need you. And we look forward to always being there for you. Frank McCucci, thank you. You've been wonderful to our ward. The storm branches, the 10th ward got hit pretty hard. My own house, a tree fell. We lost the front door. We lost the railing. We lost the gazebo. But nobody was hurt. And nobody was hurt in our ward. So that was a blessing. All other things are repairable. Unfortunately, this past month, I have 2 10th ward residents that lost very young family members. First, my sincere condolences. You know, when there's just such young people that pass away, you don't even know what to say or do. To the Scuteri family, they actually live right down my street. They lost their daughter, who was a nurse. She was 40 years old, and she fought to the last minute. She gave everyone updates on Facebook, and her parents should be so proud of what a strong woman that they raised. Unfortunately, nobody wants to lose a child. And also another resident, Janet Zagruska, she lost her sister at 31 years old, and I just wanted to acknowledge them, that my thoughts and prayers are with all of them, and certainly they're very trying times for everyone. Carnival is coming up, Winfield Carnival. I want everybody to know I will be meeting with Lieutenant Bobolski, even though he does not know it yet, in the next few days to make sure all our signage is appropriate. All my neighbors on those few roads, I suggest you get new blinds if you're getting upset about it, and just close them until it's over, and there'll be no worries. And with all that being said, tomorrow's my son's 21st birthday. And it's been a long, rough couple weeks. I hope he doesn't make me go out at midnight with him. But I wish everybody a great summer, and I'll talk to you next month. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Mayor, ready for your report?
Yes. Good evening, everybody. First, I would just like to thank the Department of Public Works, our Fire Department, our Office of Emergency Management, and our Police Department on what I think is an outstanding job they did during the storm that occurred yesterday. It's not easy when you lose power and you have trees falling down all over the town, but the way they responded was exceptional. And at the end of the day, I think their ultimate objective is to provide for the safety of the Linden residents and the safety and welfare. So I'm just glad that we have such fine people working in our city who care for our residents and do a great job. Secondly, I want to report that we have cameras being installed, 17 cameras exactly being installed at the train station. The cameras will be located in the parking lots and inside the train station building. This is just another attempt on our behalf to guarantee that we have the safety of our residents in Linden. And this is just the beginning of cameras that are going to be going up throughout the town. So we look forward to their implementation, and I think they're going to be a great resource for the city and a great resource to assist our police department in their efforts to fight crime. I'd like to just report briefly on some engineering work going on in town, particularly in the 4th Ward. For the 4th Ward residents, you may have noticed that there's some work being done on Carnegie Street, Lincoln Street, and the 9 and 1000 block of Dill Avenue. Now, typically when you do this type of work, we've been noticing on the corner lots particularly that the grading of the sidewalk somehow becomes unsightly. The grass that surrounds it becomes very unsightly. So what I did was I went out with the contractor and I showed him a couple of spots in town where this had occurred, and he came up with a very good solution. So if you'll notice, if you go to the 500 block of Lincoln Street, you'll see where they're utilizing some very attractive blocks along the edge of the grass for the property owner, and along, if you look at the corner of Carnegie and Dill Avenue, you'll see they've implemented the same type of procedure. So it's an effort to try to make the work more aesthetically pleasing, and I think I want to just thank the contractor for taking the time to spend with me out there and coming up with a very good fix for what I consider what was a bad problem in the past in repairing sidewalks. I'd like to thank the members of the governing body and all the agencies involved with regard to our August 29th backpack giveaway. What we noticed that what was occurring, that we had all these different groups all over town handing out backpacks, and there was no continuity. As Councilwoman Yamakaitis indicated, we have crayons and things that are being given out, and we have children of all ages that need supplies. So we weren't really addressing the problem correctly. So a call went out from the Mayor's Youth Commission to all the agencies that were involved in these giveaways and said, let's do something jointly. And I think everybody listened and everybody agreed. What also the problem here was that there was a tremendous strain on our city resources, because everybody who has a backpack giveaway thing, they call in the fire department, they call in the police department, they call DPW down to clean, they have to call public property down. So we're having 6, 7, 8 events, and it's just a tremendous drain on the resources. So we decided that we would go ahead and have one united event. So I want to thank all the council members who joined in, because you could have said no and said, I'm going to have my own event. You could have said it's all about me and took that approach, but you didn't, and you all joined in, and I'm very thankful for each and every one of you who joined in, because again, you could have very easily just taken your own event and held it and been selfish, but I think you all agreed that the best thing to do was to have one unified event that will let all the council members participate, let all the churches who would like to participate, and all the agencies in the town to participate on one day. So, and if we miss some children and there's some leftovers, I'm sure we'll be able to centrally locate those items in one place so we can continue with the giveaway during the course of the year, at least the early part of the year. Okay. Very good news today for Linden residents. First off, we have a finalized rendering of what we're calling the Capadaglia Phase 2 project, which will be happening on Southwood Avenue. You all have seen the first building that Capadaglia put up, and again, the general consensus, and I'll pass it up, the general consensus was that that it was not aesthetically pleasing, and they did not adhere to some of the standards that we would have liked to have in our new projects in town. So we sat down with George Capadaglia and his staff, and they basically came back a few different times with a few different approaches, and finally we hammered out a look that we think is going to be consistent. Oh, can you hear me? We hammered out a look that we think would be consistent with the way we think Linden should look in the next 100 years or so. So we're very thankful that he listened, and there are other developers who are using that same design in other areas in town. So I think at the end of the day, we're going to have a very attractive city. Again, as these towns grow vertically, it's not so much that we build. We have to build and build properly so that the city will benefit in other ways. Additional good news. For years now, we have been trying to find someone who was seriously interested in developing St. George Avenue. Growing up as a child, I recall that particular area of town. It was a lot of commerce going on in the 60s. Yes, I'm a child of the 60s. You could go there. There was an Army and Navy store. There was a bakery. There was a fish market. But in years past, we've seen a gradual decline in that area, and we've basically declared it as an area in need of redevelopment several years ago. We acquired the land, and we sought out a developer. Unfortunately, we were unable to find qualified and interested parties to develop that property. But I think that day is coming to an end because we have a company they're calling the development City Village at St. George Avenues. The company is called VVR Developers, LLC. And they have presented me with a rendering of what they would like to see happen. And of course, nothing is carved in stone, but they're very serious. We've looked at their financials, and they are financially capable of developing, and that is very important. But we have a few renderings. I'm going to put those up so the public can take a look. And again, all these renderings, if you'd like to come see them, they'll be in front of my office within the next couple of days. So if you want to pass by and take a good look and get some more information, feel free to come to my office. But hold on for 1 second. I'm going to have to get council to budget some easels for me. Can we afford it, guys? No. No problem. So anyway, these are two renderings, and the land that we're talking about, it runs from from East Baltimore Avenue all the way to Charles Street, and it's a very comprehensive plan. It allows for adequate parking, decent housing. And there's also going to be a park right inside of the complex. So it's what we call responsible development, and it's not mindless development. Now, in addition to these two particular drawings, because we haven't, these are just renderings, and we haven't really worked out the fine details, and again, we're very concerned about any developers who come in town and the architectural standards that we want to try to put in place so that 100 years from now, when people ride through Linden, they'll say, hey, what a beautiful town. So we do have some additional renderings, and I'm going to ask my colleague from the 9th Ward to, it's going to be his new job. Now, the last two are just drawings because when I received the copy of the first two renderings, I told him that I was concerned with the cornices at the top of the building, so they came back and they made some additional drawings and they included cornices. So next month, I'm sure they're going to have some nicer pictures for us. They brought in some samples of the bricks and colors of the bricks and the actual construction products that they'll be using, and it's very consistent with what's happening in some of the other towns that are growing vertically as well. So, and that being said, we're going to have I haven't decided on a date, but we're going to have a town hall meeting where I'm going to try to invite as many residents from the town as possible, particularly those residents who or in that community, like the 4th, the 8th, and the 5th Ward, so that we can solicit some input from them as to what they would like to have there as well. So again, we don't want to come in and have a development and just like cram it down the throat of the residents. We want to have their input as well. But again, this company, they're very conscientious. They have the finances, and I think they're going to do a good job. So, but we'll talk about that with the council at a later date. Let's see what else we have. Okay, and last but not least, certainly not least, you know, in the 23 years that I've been in politics, you know, you walk through these neighborhoods and you realize that when you're running for council or whether you're running for mayor, that in these little communities that we have, you aren't just a councilman. There's somebody else on these various blocks who are the councilman of those blocks. You're not just a mayor. There are mayors in these communities long before you've gotten there. And such is the case of a gentleman that I know of, Elijah Mack McDuffie. Mr. McDuffie, I grew up with his children. In fact, when I started first campaigning, I campaigned on Essex Avenue, and he was there, one of the first residents who I got a chance to talk to campaign to, and he wasn't just a resident, he was the guy who watched the block. I mean, you'd see him out there washing his cars, and he loved his cars, and he always washed his cars, but rest assured that every time he was washing his car, he may have looked like he was just washing the fender, but he had one eye on the fender and one eye on what was going on in the community. He was like the neighborhood watch person in that area. He was, in fact, the mayor of Essex Avenue, and he'll be greatly missed. The 4th Ward truly lost a great person, and my condolences go out to his family, the McDuffie family on Essex Avenue. So that concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mayor. Just got a couple of things to mention, being the last one, it was probably been mentioned already. Like it was mentioned by Councilman Medina about the Pokemon, let's be careful out there. There's been a lot of accidents, none in Linden as I have heard, but the kids are just walking around basically with a video game on their hands, and they're not looking around at where they're going. The DPW, I want to thank you so much for the work that they have done. DPW, the police department, the fire department, OEM. When I was getting here to the meeting yesterday, I had to go around through different parts in Linden because there was a lot of streets that were blocked. And today there weren't. So I can see that they did it like nonstop, and it was very hard work, and they did accomplish a lot. Normally where I work, my boss every so often decides to throw something for us, a barbecue or something, and these people deserve something. And I'm going to be talking to the council, see if we can do something by the end of the summer, because sometimes we just don't say thank you enough. And these are the people that are maintaining the city moving. It's very hot out there. Look to your right, look to your left, look at your neighbors. If you see an elderly person, sometimes living alone, the air conditioner might not be running, talk to them. Let's make sure that we take care of our neighbors, because someday they'll be taking care of us. One thing I do want to mention, and I had a resident call me screaming, your front yard is your property. Whatever you have on your front yard that's legal is your property. And if you go into somebody's front yard without permission, you're trespassing. And if you take something, you're stealing. Even if it's a sign that says vote for Trump. You don't have to like it, okay? It might be only $3, $4, but that sign belongs to that resident. And I wouldn't like anybody to come into my front yard where I have no fencing around it and take something that I've put up there, because it belongs to me. And everything boils down to respect. I will tell the police department, if we see this happening, doesn't matter if it's a political sign or any other type of sign or anything that's on your front yard, okay, you are violating the law, you're trespassing. And I will make sure that the law comes after you for that. I don't care if you like the sign or not. Okay, it's not yours. Respect other people's things as they will have to respect yours. At this point, we are going for resolutions.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
if I may, I left one thing out of my report, if you'll
Yes.
indulge me. I'd just like to mention that the last 911 Foundation ride, okay, let me start it over again. The 15th and last ride of the 911 Foundation from the Pentagon to Pennsylvania to New York City, this will be the last ride because Delaware and Maryland no longer want to block their highways for the motorcade. The pit stop will be at Aviation Plaza around 3 p.m. on August 20th. So if anyone could be there, we would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. We have resolutions 2016-258 through 2016-277. Public comments will be permitted for those specific resolutions to be removed from the consent approval. Please read the synopsis of the resolutions, which have been prepared by the city's clerk's office. Each is informative and self-explanatory. However, if you wish to address a specific resolution, the council will entertain questions on it. Does anybody wish to remove any resolution between 258 and 277? In that case, I need a motion to
Council
approve.
President?
Oh, yes, sorry. Oh.
Council President, I move for the approval of resolutions 2016-258 through 2016-277, and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling? Yes. Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ordinance is on first reading. The deputy clerk will read the ordinance. If there's anyone wishing to make a comment, no questions, just comments, I will call you up, and the public will be able to make a comment on each specific ordinance. Ms. Deputy Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-56?
An ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled, an ordinance establishing a schedule of titles, salary ranges, and regulations for maintaining the classification and salary standardization plan of all employees of the City of Linden, passed August 15, 1995, and approved August 16, 1995, by amending and modifying Schedule 4 KK5.
Any comments on this ordinance? Can I have a motion, please?
Council President, make a motion for the introduction of ordinance 60-56 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Cosby Hurling.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Strano.
Yes.
Yemakaitis.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Hickey.
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez.
Yes. Ms. Deputy Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-57?
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7 Traffic, Section 7-33.1A, handicap parking regulations on street as follows. Add 628 East Blanky Street, 1 space, 1119 Dill Avenue, 1 space, 504 Washington Avenue, 1 space, and 115 18th Street, 1 space.
Is there any comments on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Mr. President, I think we need a correction. That's 115 West 18th Street.
Thank you, Ralph. West 18th Street.
Take a few points off the Deputy Clerk. May I have a motion, please?
Council President, I move for the introduction of ordinance number 60-57 and call for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Strano.
Yes.
Yemakaitis.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Hickey.
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez.
Yes. Ms. Deputy Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-58?
An ordinance providing an appropriation of $110,000 for the installation of traffic signals and related traffic improvements for the police department, and authorizing the issuance of $104,500 in bonds or notes for the city for financing part of the appropriations.
Does anybody have any comments on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, make a motion for the introduction of ordinance 60-56 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Strano.
I'm voting yes on ordinance 60-58, not 56.
Yemakaitis.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Hickey.
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez.
Yes. Ms. Deputy Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-59?
Bond ordinance, amending bond ordinance number 5827, finally adopted by the City Council of the City of Linden on May 20th, 2014, as amended.
Does anybody have a comment on this ordinance? Can I have a motion, please?
Council President, I move for the introduction of ordinance number 60-59 and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Strano.
Yes.
Yemakaitis.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Hickey.
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez.
Yes. At this time, we will take comments from members of the public in attendance. No personal, political, or derogatory comments, and it will not exceed 5 minutes. I have the list, if anybody wants to go on the list. Can I please have Kaminsky? Edward? Excuse me, sir, you live near me, don't you?
Maple Avenue,
Maple Avenue where?
near the PAL building.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm in Curtis Street.
Oh, okay.
The big Halloween thing, that's me.
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you very much. And actually, I'm going to echo some of the comments already said to the Public Works and OEM. Very nice job. I know it was a very challenging situation yesterday. I was very impressed with how quickly things are moving along and how quickly everything was in place to make sure the town moved safely. Also, congratulations to the fire department, of course, as well, for 100 years. In terms of a couple of suggestions, a friend of mine grabbed me. He knows I come to the council meetings. And this might be for you, Mr. Strano, since it's in your ward. At the Aviation Plaza, his mother, has an elderly mother, and I know because I've kind of been in this situation too, where when you're shopping at Aviation Plaza, they have the speed bumps in that main road right through Aviation Plaza that slows traffic down, but really, like right when you get to the stores, especially it seems like Home Depot, especially ShopRite and Target, that sometimes people come flying through. And I know I've almost, and I'm not one to look at my cell phone as I'm walking or play Pokemon or any of that, but I know I've been nailed. So there's a suggestion, maybe you could talk to the property owners if they can consider doing something. I don't know, maybe if it's speed bumps or something else there to kind of slow the traffic down. I've seen several near misses myself personally. and been involved in a few. Also another, in light of what happened yesterday, maybe a suggestion, and I don't know who it is to the police, to OEM, but there is right through the Linden website, access to the system Nixie where you can get alerts. Again, last time I was up here several months ago, I'd say 3 or 4 months ago, I said that other towns I just got on it seemed to be a little bit more robust in their use of it. My opinion has not changed. Some towns like Cranford and Clark were very, very good yesterday in saying, hey, avoid these streets, and in turn, quite frankly, it'll help your folks keep people away from emergency areas. So anything we can do, and again, I'm pleading, because I don't know exactly who that person is that would really execute this, but anything we can do to really make a more robust use of, I think, this pretty good tool that we have would help in situations like yesterday and keep people safer. In terms of development, again, I'm very encouraged to see the mayor talk about that, because I was going to actually just comment that we really haven't heard much nor seen much. I'd like to give my compliments to Ms. Zach and her team. They gave me a lot of good information since I came up a couple months ago regarding the Wood Avenue development. My eyes are bad, so I can't see that. I'll be very interested in seeing those renderings. But let me start with this, right? So I'll start by being humble and correcting myself, because I did misspeak. I said that there was at least 3 different styles when you look at the downtown area of sidewalks. It's actually 5. So again, when you're talking about, I agree with the mayor that, you should have a cohesive look, smart development, something that looks nice. When you can't even get sidewalks right, it kind of just flows out. And just a lack of cohesion, and I think a very big lack of aesthetic. So I also asked about, because there seemed to be a lot of money being appropriated to the downtown area, and quite frankly, the results have been mixed and minimal to this point. I do know, again, getting the information from Ms. Zach's folks, that there was $1.546 million with almost $500,000, $453,000 spent. And then again, this is as of a couple months ago, and these are from appropriations from May 2013, August 2013, and if I could read my own handwriting, September 2013 as well. And I believe there was a couple $100,000 more appropriated for the safe walkways. So I just don't know what this money is being spent on, or what we're waiting 3 years into this. This is a focal point of our town. This is the heart of our town that feeds elsewhere. This is our shopping district. So I would love to get, when I pause, just to get some comments on what we're doing with, this money, what the money was spent on, and what we plan on doing on this, at minimum, about another $1.1 million. In addition, as I mentioned, I did talk, because I get some comments, and I'll admit my thoughts were the same on those paintings, murals, graffiti art, whatever you want to call it, underneath the railroad trestle. Again, mixed reaction. I don't think it gives a good aesthetic, good vibe of what we want Linden to be, and unfortunately, what I feared, I'm seeing it start already, which is graffiti affects other graffiti. I'm already seeing, if you go down Pennsylvania Railroad, right next to it on the side there, people are trying to already, you could see spray paint. So I hope we would reconsider that. And quite frankly, beyond that, anywhere we paint in big projects, there's some kind of covering, or even paints now that are made, special paints, which I don't think the cost is that bad, where the spray paints can be wiped right off and hosed down. So again, going all in that vein of smart development, using smart materials, and quite frankly, smart management. I mean, we've been waiting, again, quite frankly, I've moved to the 3rd Ward 22 years ago, lifelong Linden resident. And, unfortunately, I've been more disappointed than encouraged with where we're going with the development downtown. I'm a little bit more encouraged over this last year and a half, because it seems like things are starting to go. But when I look back and I see, graffiti already there, parking issues not being addressed, and that's a whole nother discussion I don't have enough time now to, and then just, $500,000 spent on who the hell knows what, quite frankly. So I know I threw a lot out there. Asked to see, is there any indication on when the next phase is, when walkways will be consolidated, cleaned up, unified? Again, when you have 5 different types of walkways in the whole downtown area, that's going to be a lot of money too. So you're kind of in a catch-22 here.
Thank you, Mr. Kaminsky.
Thank you.
No, afterwards on your minute. Mr. Mack? Henry Mack?
Thank you, Council.
Mr. Mack, can you see the clock?
Well, sir, you're blessed tonight. I don't have to worry about the clock.
Okay.
Because the words that were sent to me by the people has already been expressed, if you will. Sir, on behalf of the people, I just want to thank you based on what you introduced it to the people in reference to the condolences that you sent to humanity. We had a loss today on the same level, and we want to thank you, because you had the time to express the change connected. Mr. McDuffie, Eli McDuffie. I'm not talking to you. Didn't you give us?
Mr. Mack, can you go to the mic, please, so we all can hear you?
Thank you. I wanted to do it personally. I respect, because he summed up my words, and I just wanted to piggyback off the mayor. I don't have to waste that because he connected the change to humanity in the city of Linden, because the heart of what Mr. Council said and the mayor said is the heart of Mr. McDuffie, and because it's my brother's birthday and they the one raised me, therefore, I don't have to talk about that because they already did that. I want to thank Public Work. I think he left, because I personally was in the city of Linden last night moving. That's why I don't have to talk about that. I'm moving around in the city of Linden of the 4th Ward. I want to thank the Public Work. And the people told me to tell them that they are so impressed of the work that was done, because I woke up early this morning. They told me they were cutting trees at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm so impressed to tell Linden that. I want to tell Linden that in the 4th Ward, in the ward that has been named, the 4th Ward is shouting, glory, glory, hallelujah, because they are seeing work that has been done in the 4th Ward under the leadership of our councilman. We want to say to the mayor, under the leadership of the city of Linden, the city of mayor, the city of Linden, all council members, according to the report that I have in my office, according to all of you, we respectfully submit to you. The people said they are very impressed. Normally, I used to come up here and want to talk about something, but I come up here to tell you the parking lots is looking fantastic. The streets is looking fantastic. We're happy to submit to you. I want to say to the engineer department, from the engineer department, good God Almighty, the people is extremely pleased. That ends my report, because the people has spoken. You got it tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mack. It's delightful to hear you be so nice. Thank
Wait a
you.
minute. Excuse me, President. I didn't lose my time. Mr. Peter, what did you say, Mr. Brown? Because you was the leading man of the corporation, especially in the 3rd Ward. That parking lot is fantastic, and that's why I used the word peoples. I didn't want to identify you or whoever represent their ward. That's why I think it's the council members of the ward. Y'all doing a fantastic job, according to the people. I didn't say it. The people said it. So that's why I can deal with him today. Thank you kindly.
Thank you, Mr. Mack. At this time, I need a motion to close the public comment.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling? Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamakitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Councilman Brown, you want to speak? Who else would like to speak? Councilman Medina? Medina? Foreman? Cosby? Brooks? I want to remind you, you have 1 minute. I owe you 20 minutes. Hickey? I will cut you off on a minute. You have already spoken lengthily earlier, so please stay within the minute. Councilman Brown?
Try to be real quick with in regards to Wood Avenue. So, all right, what has been done and what's going to be done? There was a delay in Wood Avenue when I called the engineer where we're looking about doing it next year, but we're back up to speed. Sometimes the delays that we have has nothing to do with the city, but sometimes it's involving PSG, the state, and other federal agencies. Some of the difficulties that we had addressed was extending the sidewalks rather than 4 feet to 3 feet because of the manholes, replacing some of the lights that will be replaced on Wood Avenue, taking down those tall, long silver ones, replace them with the black decorative double light poles. That should be happening sometime this year. Wood Avenue, as I stated before, is going to be paved from St. George's Avenue all the way down to Blanky Street, and then from Blanky Street all the way down to the train station, it's going to be extended 3 feet. The parking lots, both behind CVS, was paved last year or the year prior, and the parking lot on the East Price Street and the East Blanky Street were paved this year as well. So changes have been made, maybe at the pace that some people believe it should be done, but things are in the work, and any delays are sometimes we're at the mercy of other agencies. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Brown. That's the fastest I have ever heard you speak.
I'm looking at the clock.
Yes, you are. Councilman Medina.
I'll make this real brief. Just 2 things. I'm glad that Mr. Kaminsky came up and spoke on the Linden Aviation Plaza, something I experienced in the past. I actually reached out to Millbrook Properties, non-responsive. I believe Councilman Strano also reached out in reference to truck parking as well. I think there's some kind of communication back and forth there, but I have reached out to them in reference to the parking lot and possible speed hump in front of the storefront, because people do fly right off of Route 109 there. So thank you for bringing that up. I just want to tell you that they have been non-responsive, but I hope that Councilman Strano will continue to be aggressive, and maybe a letter from the mayor's office or the city clerk's office can probably generate more communications. I don't know the legality of it, but I also failed to mention earlier in my report that my newsletter is in a print shop, will be released soon, will be out by the kids. I'm really excited about some of the activity, especially August 17th. We will be having Linden Board of Education night at the Linden Presbyterian Church to discuss all parents' concerns regarding our schools and children and their safety and education. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. No, I'm going in this order. Councilwoman Norman?
Yes, I'll just be real brief. I just wanted to express my deepest condolences to the family of Joe Bertolo, a resident of the First Ward who passed away last week. Mr. Bertolo was one of the nicest people that I've met in quite some time. And whenever you move into a neighborhood, there's always that one person that makes you feel at home, and that was Joe. He was the first person that I met, the first person that my children met, and he will be deeply missed. And once again, I'd just like to express my deepest sympathy to the Bertolo family. Thank you, that's all.
Thank you. Councilwoman Cosby? Oh, you're not doing? All right, thank you. Councilman Brooks?
Thank you, Council President. Normally I do this, and today I for some reason, I neglected to do so. My telephone number, 908-406-8537, in the event that you need to talk with me, and please feel free to do so. I say this all the time, you don't need a third party to call me direct, 908-406-8537. And also my condolences to the McDuffie family for their loss, and to everyone who mentioned the loss here. My condolences to all of those families. Thank you very much, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Hickey, 1 minute and 60 seconds.
I know. The 9th and 10th Ward will have a joint meeting on August 17th with the Board of Education to ask them and present all our concerns with our schools. And also, since everybody is going to be leaving here soon, I just want you to know, I received a message from OEM and DPW that Wood Avenue between, Elizabeth Avenue between Wood Avenue and Ziegler is closed off. There's actually a problem there with the tree that they're worried about it falling. So rest assured they have it under control, but take an alternate route if necessary. And have a good month. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Mr. Kaminsky, your question was not really answered about how much we have spent, what we have spent it on. You can make a meeting with our CFO, Mrs. Sack. She will tell you exactly where the money has gone. And our engineer, he will be able to tell you anything you need about any specifics. Okay, sir? And if you don't get the answer that you want, give me a call, and I'll get them for you. Yeah. The following council meetings will be as follows. Council Conference, Monday, August 15, 2016, at 6 p.m. in the Council Conference Room, City Hall, 301 Northwood Avenue. Council Conference meeting prior to the council meeting Tuesday, August 16, 2016, at 6 p.m. in the Council Conference Room, City Hall, 301 Northwood Avenue. Council meeting Tuesday, August 16, 2016, at 7 p.m. in the Council Chamber, City Hall, 301 Northwood Avenue. I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling? Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes, we are adjourned.